Bag number 2. Looks like a gearbox. Let's open this thing up. All right. That looks familiar. I think later on I'll probably try out the 5 gear. I'm curious to see how that will work. I usually run 21.5 for the trophy races in my area, and then, you know, for weeklies, that's where I run the 17.5. I'm not going to install the slipper on this. I did purchase the Eliminator, and I got the Revolution design one. I got, oh, here we go. This was packaged by Sabinova. I wonder why they have that in some bags, but not all of them. Well, thank you for packaging that, Sabinova. Yeah, so I got the Revolution design one. I got the steering, the bell cranks, and the rack for my XT2, the aluminum ones, and I was pretty impressed with the quality of the aluminum, so I figured I'd go ahead and try some of those items on the new buggy. So when we get to the slipper, we're going to go ahead and install that. About half the price as the half the price of the X-ray stuff, so it's kind of hard to not try when it's half the price. All right, we got everything laid out there. We'll see. Looks like we're not really going to use that anyway. It's nice that they include the vented slipper plates. I'll put those off to the side. Maybe I'll use them someday. Maybe I won't. Got this bag inside that has some of the hardware, some of the screws and pins. And somewhere I've got a bag of bearings. This must be it right here. Alright, I got all the bearings straightened out. One thing I'm not crazy about with X-ray packaging is how they put all the bearings together for the entire kit, and then you really have to sort through them to figure out which ones you really need, instead of just including them in each bag for each step. So we got the idler gear, a couple of bearings going in there. And here in the gearbox, little pin goes in there. Gear goes in there. And this bearing goes over the top shaft right through there. Move that idler gear out for a second, I guess. Snap that right in. Get that idler gear back in there. Great. And we're gonna put the 2 gearbox halves together. Nice. There's a little bit of flashing here that I can trim off and neaten that up a little bit. There we go. Not that that one would really matter. Oh, a little bit on this side too. Nice sharp blade will do the trick. There we go. Put those together just like that. Great. Not sure I like how that fits together, but we'll add the screws and see what it looks like then. All right, so what do we got here? We got 3x12, a 3x14, and a 3x14. So let's see, that must be the 14, that must be the 14, and that must be the 12. Take a look at that real quick. Yes. So the 12 goes in the upper hole. And pretty much like everything else, just snug it a little bit and then go back, add your other screws, and then fully tighten afterwards. Always careful not to over tighten. Plastic is really quality, but it's so easy to over tighten. Good. I'm surprised they haven't redesigned the gearbox case up here so you don't have this space with that upper screw going through. Maybe there's a benefit to having a opening like that. I just think it looks silly. But must be some shimming on that top shaft later. All right. On the diff height adjustment, I know I said earlier that I would run the total box setup on it, but I know for sure that I'm gonna end up running the diff in the highest position. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, it looks like they had me put the bearings on the differential earlier and I didn't. Well, we'll put them on now. All right, I'm gonna make sure I've got those in the same orientation with the diff in the highest position. Get that right down in there. Looks good. It feels pretty free. And we use some of their graphite grease. I don't use much of this, just a little kind of zigzag across the diff gear, I think is enough. If people want to add in the comments any of their preferences or hacks when they're doing first time assembly, I'm happy to hear them and share out in the community what people are doing. I don't pretend to be saying that everything I do is the right way to do it. You know, I've worked on RC cars for a few decades and found things that I believe work well, but it's great to talk to friends and see what they do and pick up new strategies. All right, so we got a little of their graphite grease in there. We're gonna snap this cover in, see if we get that trademark snap. It was a little bit weak, but yeah, we got the snap. And then 2 3x10s right down through the vertical right there. There we go. How's that feel? Feels pretty good to me. Maybe not quite as free as I would anticipate, but maybe those bearings just need to get worn in a little bit. I'm used to a gearbox that's a couple years old with hundreds of runs on it, so feels pretty good to me. All right, I think the motor mount is next. So let me get this thing in the right orientation. All right, with this like this, those go just like that with these two little shorty screws. There. Could probably get away without running that at all, but we do anyway. All right, now with this facing us like this, I'm gonna go ahead and screw on the motor plate, or try to anyway. As I go through this series, I don't know if I'm gonna show every single screw going in every single location, or if we'll just speed up through some of that. There's a part of me that just enjoys watching the entire process, start to finish, which I don't think you see out there too much on YouTube. But I also understand it might get a little boring, every single screw. Maybe you can let me know in the comments. All right, great. So that's the gearbox up to the motor plate, and we'll see what we're doing next.